Good morning, everyone. This is Iyad Murtada, and I would like to welcome you here all today on behalf of the UAE Internal Audit Association. Today, we will be conducting this webinar, which is related to auditing social media. And first, I would like to thank you for coming here today. I would like to thank our sponsor for making the Audit Festival and the online conference a great success. So this webinar is part of the online conference related to the Audit Festival, which is the world's first audit festival conducted by UAE Internal Audit Association. And this event was like for about 2 weeks. It's a great event. We had so many, discussions related to internal audit for government, family business, oil and gas, and other different topics. And we are finishing this by conducting this one-day full webinars. We have 4 webinars related to auditing social media and other topics that we are going to have all over the day. So our topic today is related to auditing social media. It's a very interesting topic to discuss and learn about because social media now is everywhere. Everyone is using social media. And for us, we need to understand exactly what opportunities and what risk we have when we are speaking about, social media. So this training is based on this book, which is by the IIA called Auditing Social Media. It's a great book if you would like to buy it and get to learn more about how can you conduct social media audit, what is the risk there, or what kind of policies that you need to create for your organization. So let's start our presentation today. So as you can see, customers, suppliers, employees, partners are always talking about your company, about your product, behind your back. In the past, these conversations were private and limited. But now what happened? People are more connected. They can speak about your product over the internet. For that now, we can say thanks to social media now, every single tweet, comment, and video complaint and compliment are shared by millions of users online, and they are recorded online forever. People are more connected and they control the message. You don't control the message anymore. So in that case, what can you do in a world like that where the message is not your? Before, the traditional media were controlled by who? By the advertisers, by the channels. So in that way, you can decide exactly what messages you need to send to your customers through, TV, radio, or newspaper. But now with social media, the message is spread all over. And you are not the only person who's sending the message, also your customers are doing the same. And at the same time, when we look at social media, we see some opportunities there, right? Marketing and PR, they think about social media as a way for them to interact with customers, to create friendship, to improve the business, to create collaboration. It's a really great way for you to communicate with your customers. At the same time, it's a fun way for you, to introduce your products. On the other side, we need to understand the risk, right? If your employees are on social media, maybe they are wasting their time. If your customers are on social media doing something that may harm your brand, and at the same time, what about the scams there? What about the identity theft? What about anything that may hurt your brand or create risk for your organization? So in that way, social media got both opportunities and risks. And for us as internal auditors, we are always trying to add value to the organization by understanding what opportunities are there from social media and bringing them to the organization, and at the same time trying to minimize the risk that's available there. So for that, let's start by an example. Do you know this guy? He's a really famous guy. His name is Dave Carroll. So Dave Carroll, what happened to him? He was just flying with United Airlines. And when he was flying with United Airlines, he was just looking out of the window and he saw his guitar was thrown by the baggage handling crew, and it was, on the floor. So he thought, oh my God, they broke my guitar. And that was actually true. When he landed, he discovered that his guitar was broken. And he said, oh my God, this is my favorite guitar. I love my guitar. United broke my guitar. So in that way, they should pay for it. So he called United, he complained about it, and he said, please, pay for my guitar, it's your fault. And what happened? United just ignored him, right? They said, okay, we don't really care about you, we are not going to pay for your guitar, we are not going to do anything for that. So what happened? He created a video called United Breaks Guitars. And this video, as you can see, got more than about like 10 million hits. Now maybe it's about 11 million hits. And if you go to YouTube, you will be able to watch it. It's a really nice video that will show you how this guy, he was just upset about what United did to him. So he created this video. And now he got huge publicity. And now he opened his own company called United Breaks Guitars. And he's doing speeches about his experience with United. Imagine if you are working with United as internal auditor, how much damage happened because someone didn't respond to this guy at the first place, and at the same time another person didn't understand the effect of social media. If this person would like to go and use one of these social media channels and promote the message related to his experience, how much this will affect your brand. So it's really important for you to understand the impact of social media. You can't now afford not to be in social media. The bottom line is that organizations are going to participate in social media, but the question is to what extent they will participate. So in that way, we need to pay attention to social media and start understanding exactly how we are going to use it. And from us, for internal auditors, we need to understand how we can help our organization in using it in the right way. So this is social media. This is the challenge with social media. When you think about social media, you'll be like, oh my God, we have Google, we have Facebook, we have YouTube, we have all these, all these social media channels. We need to understand, what we can do with this. What about, this tool? What about how can we integrate this tool with this tool? How can we tweet and at the same time share on LinkedIn? And what about, creating our social network? So in that way, you stuck. You don't know where you need to start. You don't know how you should, manage it, how you should understand the risk of it, what kind of policies that you need to set. So what you do, you just say, okay, I'm not going to get involved, right? So what happened to many of the organizations, they say, okay, let's do the following. Let's not allow our employees to use social media. We block Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and at the same time, we will not use social media. So in that way, we are not on Facebook, Twitter, or any other social media. So in that way, we are minimizing the risk. But that's completely the wrong approach. You can't do this and you can't afford this currently. And the other way, what other companies will think this way. They say what we need is to post ourselves in a viral video quick, do something funny. So other companies, they think social media is something that they can just approach, and they can just say, okay, let's create a video, let's tweet about something, let's put something on our Facebook, and after that we are going to create buzz about our product. But the reality is, the focus should be on the strategy rather than the technique and technology. See, when you think, I should not focus on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or any other channels. I should focus on the strategy, on the objectives. What are we trying to achieve? And based on this, we decide what we are going to do, which tool we are going to use. So in that case, if we look at it, we look at the tactics and we look at the strategy. Strategy is what we need to focus on. Are we trying to monitor? Are we trying to achieve our business needs? Are we trying to create contents for our customers so in that way they know more about our product? Are we trying to provide guidelines, training? We need to focus on the strategy. And after that, we need to understand, okay, which tactic can achieve this strategy. Again, for us as internal auditors, we don't need to understand YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, nothing. We just need to understand what strategies in social media organizations should implement and what are the risks and opportunities for these strategies. So when we think about a full goal strategy target thing, we think, okay, we have our goals, what we need to achieve, we have which strategy is going to take us there, and what is our target? Who are we targeting with this strategy? So let's start with business objectives. So the first thing, why are we using social media? This is a really important question that we need to understand, and we need to ask the management, why are you using social media? Are you trying to, achieve business objectives? And at the same time, who are you targeting? Are you targeting your employees or your customers? So in that way, are you trying to achieve business objective related to revenue side or cost side? So are you trying to increase your revenue by implementing innovative techniques for your employees to connect together? Or are you trying, to promote your products through social media so in that way, customer will know more about them and they will go and buy them? Now, if we look at the cost side, are we trying to implement social media so in that way employees will be working together and this will reduce the cost of meeting, traveling, doing all this, and at the same time will increase the productivity? or you are trying to implement social media. So in that way, you create, a way where customers are connected and they are helping each other. So in that way, you reduce the cost of your customer service. This is really important for you to identify your business objectives. Then you identify your social media strategy, right? You focus here on social media strategy about, what are we gonna do? What is our strategy related to social media? Are we going to ignore it? We are going to say, we are going to not see social media. Social media doesn't exist. We are just going to close our eyes. We are going to not hear anything about what's happening in social media. And this is what many companies are doing. Or we are going to see, we are going to listen, but we are not going to participate. We are going to monitor what's happening. We are going to see what's going on. We are going to listen about what our customers are saying, but we are not going to respond or participate. So in that way, we are just trying to observe, and maybe in the future, maybe we are going to engage. Or we are trying to participate without a plan. And I will tell you that maybe more than 70–80% of companies are doing this. They are saying, okay, we need to be in social media. Let's do something about it. Let's create a Facebook. Let's create a Twitter account. Let's open a YouTube channel. And let's put our messages there. Let's communicate with our customers. Let's say something. And after that, what will happen? Do you know? Great. Customers will come. Fans will be on Facebook. People will follow you on Twitter. And people will subscribe to your YouTube, but you don't achieve any business objectives. It's without any plan. You have all this buzz, but what is the result? Nothing. Or the final thing, and what you should do, you should participate with a plan. You should understand, okay, this is my objective. I want to increase the sales. I want to increase the awareness. I want to promote this brand. I want to promote this promotion. And based on it, I will create a plan to achieve this objective, and I will be able to measure it over time. Finally, so we focus what? We focus on our objective and strategy. Finally, we look at our target audience. It's really important to understand who are you speaking with. And for internet users, it's completely different than offline users. For internet users, you need to understand these people that you are communicating with. Are they speaking about your brand? Are they listening? Are they interacting? So in that way, we need to understand what are the different segments for our customers over the internet. And we can start by saying some of them are creators, right? They publish blogs, they publish web pages, they create videos. So these creators people, if you communicate to them in the right way, they are gonna speak about your brand, they are gonna blog about it, they are gonna create video about it, tell stories. So it's really important to understand how you are gonna target them. Or you look at your critiques, right? These people who are gonna say, write review about you, rate your services, contribute to online forums. They are gonna, give you feedback. So it's really important for at the same time to communicate with them and create special strategies for them to get feedback from them. After that, we look at collectors. These people who are gonna collect all this information from creators and critics, and after that share it, over social networks. Then we look at joiners, these people who are just gonna join your social network just to see what's happening and learn about your product. And they just would like to join all these social networks related to the product that they care about. Then we look at spectators, which is they just go there and see what's happening. They read an article, blog, they look at your video. They are just, passive. They don't do anything other than just, reading what's out there. Or we look at inactives. Sometimes you try to target some customers, but actually they are inactive. They don't belong to the online, social network. So when you understand your target audience, you'll be able to understand what strategy you need to create and what is the objective that you are going to accomplish. So for us as internal auditors, remember, we are not responsible for creating social media activities. We are not responsible for implementing social media activities. We are just there to help the organization in making sure that the social media activities that they are doing is what? Is achieving the objective of the organization, number one. And number two, we need to make sure that these activities are not creating any risk. And finally, we need to make sure that we have the internal controls there to make sure that everything is working effectively. This is our objective when we are looking at social media. And now, for that, it's really important for us to understand what is social media activities the organization can do or they are doing currently. So we look at them in this way. We say social media activities, they are related to listening, learning, responding, measuring, and sharing. So let's start by the first one, which is listening. So for listening, we need to understand that, it's really important for organizations to listen to the customers. We should create, you as internal auditor should make sure that the organization, they have something, in place, some monitoring tools for them to identify some keywords. So in that way, for me, if I'm working, let's say, in the, let's say, retail industry, and I have a fashion shop, I want to make sure if someone is mentioning the name of my store over the internet, I will be able to catch it, because someone will may say, okay, I don't like their products, I like their products, I need to get feedback related to them. At the same time, I will put some keywords related to my competitors, I will put some keywords related to the industry, related to my location, to the name of my staff, to the name of my key individuals. In that case, I will be able to capture anything happening related to my company. See, I will be able to identify any potential risk. The most important thing when I'm doing this, to focus on the critical areas, the best areas that I need to measure based on the risk. I want to see, okay, what I'm trying to measure. And based on it, I will respond to these messages that I will collect from social media. Some of the tools that you can use, which is called social mention, which is a really amazing tool that you can use for you to be able to filter everything happening real time in social media about your brand. So if you would like to write any information there related to your brand, you'll be able to see exactly in real time what people are talking about your brand. Number 2, learning. Organization use the insight from social media to do what? To improve the business process, add value to the operation, and reduce potential risk. So what we need to focus on here, okay, now you collected this information from social media. What are you going to do about them? You are going to learn, you are going to improve. If someone said they are trying to check out and the line is so long, you need to understand next time you need to improve your operation. If they say, okay, we went there and I couldn't find my size all the time, you need to understand you need to improve your inventory management process to have all the stocks all the time in your stores. At the same time, if someone is complaining about a bad attitude from one of your staff, you need to understand this is a potential risk. Maybe you may lose the customer or something bad may happen. So in that way, you need to try to reduce your risk. Now we have two ways of learning. We have reactive learning and we have proactive learning. So with reactive learning, it's based on what? It's based on listening, right? So reactive learning, something bad will happen and I will listen to it, I will catch it, and I will correct it next time. So we call it reactive learning. Proactive learning, that you send information through social media and you ask your customers, what do you think the best location for us to open, our store? Which mall would you like? What products would you like us to sell? And in that case, you collect information from them, you learn, and after that, you improve your operation, which is really effective way if you are using social media. Now, I want your feedback. What do you think about this car? If I will put this car over the internet, what would you think? Please write it in the chat box. Do you think it's ugly? It's a nice car? You will buy it? You will not buy it? I want you to respond. I want you to just in the chat box, if you can, respond by saying, I will buy it. I don't really like the shape of it. What do you think about this car? If someone will show you, will send you an email with a picture of this car saying, okay, this is the car of the year that I'm thinking about buying. What do you think? Should I buy it? What do you think about the design? Oh, it has an ugly back. Okay, we got some feedback, which is good. Okay, it looks nice, but like to know about the features and interior. Okay, here we are just looking at the picture. What do you think about the picture? Do you think it's nice? Some people will say it's nice. Some people will say it's ugly. Okay, so let's see. I like the design and features. Okay, so let's look at, what happened. They had this picture, and they decided, the company who created this car, which is Honda Accord, they decided to put this car over the Facebook, and they say, okay, this is our new car. Please tell us, what do you think about it? And what happened? Customers start saying something like, we don't like the design of it. It's really ugly. I will never buy it. And Honda, they were like, oh my God, all these customers, they are giving very negative feedback. But after a while, we found a guy, his name is Eddie, saying it's interesting design. I would get the car in heartbeat. And quickly, Facebook fans, they know everything happening. So quickly, Facebook fans, what they said, sound like you are trying to save your job at Honda. Maybe maybe you are saying this because you are the manager of product planning. So what happened here? This guy Eddie, he is working from the company, and he was trying to be smart, and he's saying, okay, Facebook people are saying that we don't like this car. Well, I'm gonna say I like this car, but I'm not gonna mention that I work for Honda and I am the manager of product planning. So Facebook fans, they were angry. They said, okay, you are saying this because you are just working there. This car is really ugly. And what happened after that, and this is the funny thing, that Honda responded by saying, okay, maybe you don't like this car because the picture is not appropriate. Let me show you the car from different angle. And Facebook fans, they were angry more. They said, so do you think we don't see the right angle? You understand, the picture or the design of the car more than us, and it was a big disaster. So here, what we are saying about responding. If you are creating social media strategy, or if you are using social media strategy, it's really important to have in place something that will help you respond if something happened like this, You can't let everything happen and after that respond in the negative way or bad way or upset your fans or hurt your brand by not having the right way of responding to your customers. So for that, what we focus on here, organizations should teach their employees to take the right action and respond. See, this is the way of responding. You should understand and teach these employees. And for you as internal auditors, you should make sure that there are some procedures, there are some guidelines teaching these employees how to respond to social media in case something happened or there's a disaster, crisis. So in that way, that will not create risk or hurt your brand. In reality, I saw this car in the dealer, and I think it's a really nice car. If you try it or if you just look at it in real life, it's really nice. But over the internet, it's not that nice. So this is, social media sometimes can hurt your brand if you don't understand how to communicate it in the right way. Maybe if they had a video there rather than a picture, that would be much better. See, this is again, organizations should always understand how to use social media in a way that they will not, hurt the product and at the same time upset the fans. Number 4, we are speaking about measuring, right? So this guy, he's saying, awesome, we got 17 retweets. And the guy, he's saying, what was your goal? Yes, the goal? What goal? See, this is what's happening with our marketing people. They say, okay, we are trying to get tweets, we are trying to get fans, we are going to try to get people subscribing. And after that, we are saying, okay, and what objective is this accomplishing? And you'll be like, we don't have really objective. We are just trying to create buzz. So the focus here should be how social media is helping the organization to meet its business objectives. See, social media is just a tool that we use to meet our business objective. It's not something that we create for nothing. So measuring is important. And you will say, okay, what are we trying to measure? Well, we have so many things to measure. We have the metric, we have the objectives that we are trying to achieve, and based on it, we create a matrix for us to measure to see if we are achieving our objective or not. So for brand recognition and awareness, we are trying to measure the share of voice, how much people are talking about our product. Shareholder engagement, are they engaging with our product? Customer service, if someone is saying anything bad through social media, or if we are trying to capture the customer satisfaction through social media, these measures are important to understand, are we providing good customer service? What about human resources? Are we getting talents through social media like LinkedIn? And at the same time, what about the employee retention rate? Are they staying with our organization when they are leaving? What they are saying about our organization? It's important for us to measure that. What about innovation? Are you using social media internally inside the organization to generate new ideas, to share ideas, and at the same time, to share these ideas with the world outside? Are we using social media in an innovative way and at the same time measuring the impact of using social media for our innovation? Finally, what about sales and marketing? Are we understanding exactly the value that social media is bringing to us related to new customer acquisition and customer lifetime value? See, we can measure so many things, and for us as internal auditors, we want to make sure that marketing and PR, if they are using social media, they are trying to achieve the objective of the organization effectively. Finally, we look at sharing. Social media, after collecting all this information, we listen, we learn, we respond, we are trying to put all this together and trying to do what? We are trying to use social media and use all this information that we collect and share it with the world to drive greater value in more areas of our organization. We are sharing information with our customers related to, when our store will open, when our new product will come, the new initiatives that we are working on, we are getting feedbacks from them through sharing. And at the same time, we are trying to make everyone understand that when they are sharing, they have compliance issue. They can't share all the information. At the same time, when customer is writing about our product over our website, he can't use bad words, for example. He can't mention certain things over our website. He can't promote his services. He can't solicit for customers. So for sharing, we need to understand exactly what compliance issues we have there. And at the same time, we need to understand how much value we are adding to our organization when we are doing sharing. We need to make sure that what we are doing related to social media and everything we are sharing is supported by top management, and they consider it as a strategic method for them to improve the organization. And we need always to focus on reducing our risk. We should not share any information that's confidential. Perfect. So as we can see, tactics, tools, time. We can see that for different strategies, we use different tools and tactics, and at the same time based on different timeline. Now, what we are saying, social media will make us more authentic. Let's outsource all our social media to specialists who couldn't not care less about our brand. How amazing is that? So what happened? Can you see all this? It's so complicated to understand social media and strategies and tactics. And after that, what we are going to do? We are going to say, okay, we don't want to bother with social media. Let's outsource it to someone outside our organization. So in that way, what will happen? They will take care of it. We don't need to worry about social media. Social media is not a concern for us anymore. But what is the risk related to that, right? For internal auditors, if the organization is outsourcing something to outside the organization, maybe, number one, we don't have so much control of what's going on there, and at the same time, what risk this may create. And this is an example. So Chrysler, what happened, they outsourced their social media for Twitter to a company called New Media Strategies. And what happened, this lady who's handling this, she was just sitting and tweeting on her personal account, and by mistake she wrote the following: I found it ironic that Detroit is known as Metro City, and yet no one here knows how to drive. And the mistake that she did, she wrote this on Chrysler Twitter account rather writing this on her personal Twitter account. And imagine what happened. All the customers, all the followers of Chrysler saying, okay, what do you think? We buy your cars and you are saying we don't know how to drive? You don't respect your customers? What are you doing? And after that, it was a huge disaster for Chrysler. So if you are outsourcing your social media, if your organization decided to do this, you need to make sure that that the company who's handling this, they don't do any mistakes like that. And at the same time, the most important thing that you need to make sure that customers will feel that you are providing them with authentic message, right? You should make them feel that the person who's speaking with them is speaking with them from inside the company, is giving them a message related to them, not a PR company saying whatever. See? This is really important because social media is not about sending a message. Social media is about creating relationship with customers and connect with them. Now we move to risk management, right? So what happened? We understood everything related to social media activities. Now we are looking at, okay, what is the risk management that we should establish for us? And what is the risk that we have related to social media? So first we look at, the short term. The short term, if something happen in social media, this may affect our digital perspective. Right now, companies, they have something called digital assets. Their website, social media, Twitter accounts, YouTube, we consider them as digital assets for the organizations. And if we have negative, review or negative perception from customers, this will hurt our digital assets. And in the short term, at the same time, will hurt us financially. Customers will not come to buy from us. Customer will not, recommend our products to their friends. Customers will disengage. So this will hurt us on the short term. On the long term, this may affect our brand in general. The value of our brand may go down. The goodwill of our brand may go down. At the same time, this may create risk issues. In the long term, maybe something will happen, maybe because of all these messages. Let's say related, if someone on social media speaking about how our cars are creating so much pollution, or how our internal processes are not helping the community, this on the long term may create lawsuits, may create so many issues that may hurt our organization. So we need to understand, how to create a risk management process that will help us on the short term and long term manage everything related to our financial, operation and non-financial digital operation or marketing operation. For that, what we need to do, we need to create social media governance. We need to have something in place that making sure that we are not going to end up in a place where there is a risk. We are going to try to avoid all these risks associated with social media and at the same time achieve our objectives. So we need to have the board of directors understand the opportunities and risk of social media, approve the social media strategies of the organization. So this is the responsibility of the board of directors. Now for executives, they should understand how to align social media with the organization's strategies and at the same time create the appropriate social media objectives and strategies. So see, executives, they are responsible for creating social media and making sure that it's achieving the objectives. For social media committee, they are just, they are trying to make sure that the whole implementation is happening related to social media and trying to make sure that all the departments are involved in the process. Our role as internal auditor is to make sure that this is, this social media governance is there. And in that case, boards, they understand the risk and they understand the opportunities. They approve what's happening. Executive, they are doing it. And social media committee is making sure that everything is happening. Now we look at social media policy. I know you have always this question. Should we allow our employees to use Facebook? Should they use Twitter at work? What about YouTube channel? This may waste their time during work. So what we say for social media policy, it's really important to understand, social media first. Second, understand what kind of policy you need to create for your employees. So what he's saying here, you are our new marketing manager for social media. By the way, the company policy prohibits use of Facebook, Twitter at work, and we don't trust you to work from home. If you blog about the name you are fired. First day, not so good. See, you need to really be careful when you are speaking about social media. If you are sending the message to your employees that we are going to block social media, we are going to block Facebook, YouTube, sometimes Gmail, you are telling them that we don't trust you. We don't understand how you are operating, and for that, we don't want to deal with you. We are just going to cut it and go and do whatever you want. But don't forget that your employees, if you are not allowing them to use social media through their computers, they are using it through what? Through their cell phones, right? They open their Facebook app, they tweet over the mobile phone, so you can't block it. So the best situation for you is not to block all these channels, but rather to create policies. Saying something, Facebook and Twitter is not for work, right? If you would like to use Facebook or Twitter, please don't use them at work. And you keep them open, and after that you provide, you advise them why Facebook and Twitter should not be used at work. Or if you would like to use Facebook and Twitter, create a social network for the organization and promote your organization to use it to achieve your objectives. See, you need to think about social media as a way to help you, not a way to, put you down back. So for social media policy, this is what we should focus on when we create a policy. What the public can or can't say about the organization online site. See, this is if we think about the public. You have Facebook account, you have Twitter, you have YouTube. You need to tell the public what they can say or not say, maybe even on your website. And after that, what the organization will or will not monitor. So in that way, now we think about the organization. If you are telling your employees, you can or you can't use Facebook, you need to inform them that maybe if they are using Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, any other account, you are going to monitor their activities if they are mentioning anything related to your company. See, you can't really go and behind their back try to sneak and see what they are doing. You need to inform them that their activities on social media related to the company are monitored. And at the same time, what the employees can or can't do on social media, you need to tell them, please, you can't mention the name of our company over social media and provide any information. You can share it with your friend. You can share it, with your social networks. You can create a YouTube video of shooting someone inside the office. These policies should be in place. And what social media tools will or will not be used. You need to make everyone understand that our organization is using Facebook. We are not using Twitter, sorry. So in that way, your customers will know, your employees will know. It should be clear what tools you are using. And at the same time, what other policy that might affect social media related to ethics, any confidential information, harassment. You need to make a training to your employees and make them aware that social media can hurt the organization in this way if we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at the same time, it can add value if we are doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in that way, they have awareness and they know, okay, what is expected from them, what are the policies, what they can do, and what they can't. Here's a perfect example. Best Buy social media policy. So Best Buy, what they did something crazy. They said, okay, we are gonna create this service, which is called Twilio Force, and we are gonna allow all our customers to directly interact with all our employees. So in that way, they will be able to tweet with them, the employees will tweet with them back, and it's an open network. Anyone can tweet with anyone can respond to anyone. So in that way, we are trying to communicate with our customers 24 hours and help them all the time. So imagine how much risk that if we are thinking as internal auditors. Something may happen, the employees may provide bad information, customer may be upset, someone may not provide the correct information. So what they created, they say, we are going to create the right policy. We are going to say, you need to be smart, be respectful, and be human. And like I said, they said, what you should do. First, you should disclose your affiliation. You should say, I work with Best Buy. So in that way, customer will know that you are an employee with Best Buy. Second, you should state it's your opinion. So you should state, this is my opinion. This is not representing Best Buy. And at the same time, act in a respectful manner and ethically. So in that way, you are providing the best knowledge that you have. Now, what you should never do, you should not disclose the number. You should not say how many iPad we sold. You should not say, that we are making so much money from selling this item. At the same time, you should not disclose any personal information. You should not say, well, currently I am staying in this location, or currently, this is my phone number. If you would like to call me after work, you should not provide any personal information. At the same time, anything that belongs to someone else, see, you should not say, okay, well, your wife also bought this iPhone, or many people from your organization are focusing on this product. You should not provide any information that's not related to the person that you are communicating with. And at the same time, you should provide confidential information, not provide any confidential information. So keep all the information that's confidential, outside these social networks. Look what happened. They say, this is what you can do and what you can't do. And after that, they say, now, if you do something wrong, just in case you're forgetful or ignore the guidelines, look what can happen. See, it's really important to show the consequences of not using the social media in the right way. You may get fired, you may get Best Buy in legal trouble, and you may cost us the ability to get or keep our customers. This way, when Best Buy implemented this policy, and when they start using, this new service, it was a great success because everyone, got the idea of what is social media, what we can do and what we can't, and what are the consequences. Perfect. So now we covered social media activity, risk, governance, and policies. Now we get to the core business, right? Doing audits. For us as internal auditors, we are always trying to create new engagement to add value to the organization. And what are these engagements? They are social media audits, right? We are saying we are going to do social media governance audit to make sure that you have in place the governance, making sure that social media is happening the way it should be. We are going to do social media strategy audit to make sure that you have the right strategy to achieve your objective. We are going to do social media plan to make sure that you have the right plan to achieve your objectives based on the strategy. We are going to do social media plan execution to make sure you are executing your plan based on the plan itself. We are going to make sure that you have measures, to make sure that you are measuring and monitoring everything happening related to social media and making sure that you are achieving your objectives with these measures. We are going to do an audit to make sure that you have the appropriate training for your employees and to make sure that they understand how to use social media and not create any risk by using social media. We are going to do another audit related to social media policy to make sure that you have the right policy for you to make sure that you are not creating any risk. At the same time, you are working effectively to achieve the objectives of the organization. And at the same time, any other regulatory or compliance issues related to social media, we want to make sure that you are not going over these guidelines. You are speaking with your lawyers, you are not providing any confidential information, you understand what limitation social media is going to give you. So these just some of the social media audits that we can conduct. And the question is, how are we going to do this? Well, it's easy. The same way we do other audits, we do it here. First, we say what is the objective. So social media strategy, first the objective is to determine whether social media strategy has been developed that's complete, aligned with the corporate strategies and appropriately communicated. So here we are saying social media strategy should be aligned with the objectives and the strategies of the organization, and we are communicating this to everyone. Okay, how can we do this? We will review the social media strategy document. We will review the organization strategy goals and objectives. We look at the meeting notes to make sure that all this information were communicated to the board of directors and it was approved by them. So in that way, review the social media strategy to ensure that it's aligned. See, these are the tasks that we are going to do. We make sure that it's aligned with the organization objective, addressing all the social media channels that we are going to use, understand the impact on this on our social on our stakeholders, and at the same time what benefits we are going to get from it, and in understanding what kind of messages we are going to communicate, what are we trying to achieve from it. So this is related to auditing social media strategy. Monitoring. See the same thing here, to determine whether appropriate monitoring system has been established over communication related to social media. So for monitoring here, we are trying to make sure that we are monitoring everything to minimize the risk. How are we going to do this? We will look at the policies and procedures. Do we have procedures and policies stating that we should monitor? And documentation of issue, showing, okay, what we monitor and what results we were able to get. See, we have so many things. For social media policy, we try to make sure that there is a policy in place and it's communicated in the right way to the employees, and at the same time, it's followed by the employees. So we look at the internal social media policy, external social media policy, training. When we communicated to the employees, meeting minutes for board of directors, we got approval from board of directors, support from this social media committee, and at the same time, communication of the policy to departments, how we communicated to these departments. In general, what you need to do as internal auditor, again, you should not go into details in understanding the tactics and tools for social media. You need to understand exactly, what are the objectives? What are the governance that we have there? What are the activities, the capability? Are we measuring and always trying to learn from it? Are we really engaging the conversation, listening and learning, and at the same time achieving the objectives of the organization? So for that, the main goal for us to make sure that the social media strategy that's in place is aligned with the organization, and at the same time, this